So you can repeat or review this class, yeah, by looking at the YouTube. Okay. Now I will move back first to the previous case that we have. Yeah, so I will share, but now I will share the full screen of my desktop. Yeah, and then I will start with the our previous cases. Okay. Do you have any problem to understand about our previous simulation with the Lindy process of LNG liquefaction? Is there any comment or is there any question? Something that you don't understand? I will happy to review again if you have a problem with. Okay, if there is no question, I will continue with our previous case. Yeah, actually that we already solved all of the case that we have except, yeah, the thing that not in here written there that please use the minimum approach of 5 degrees C. Yeah, so you already understand about the minimum approach. Minimum approach is actually the difference, the shortest difference between hot liquid and cold liquid. So in heat exchanger, there are two kind of stream. The first one is the hot stream, and then the second one is the cold stream. Yeah, hot stream will transfer the heat to the cold stream, so it's make the temperature of the cold stream will be higher at the end, and the opposite one, the hot stream, will have a colder temperature at the end of the process. Yeah, so by transferring the heat from the hot stream to the cold stream, yeah, and then in this two stream, actually we can make a line or we can make a curve. Yeah, so we can call it as the hot curve and cold curve. And then the shortest distance between the cold curve and the hot curve is called as minimum approach. Yeah. So when we would like to check about the minimum approach in the HYSYS, yeah. So you can go to the HYSYS in here. Wait a moment. I will try to open my HYSYS. Yeah, this is my HYSYS. Yeah, I already open. Okay. You can double click the heat exchanger that you want to evaluate. Yeah, and then double click here, and then you can go to the performance, and then look at in this table. Yeah, in the overall performance table, okay, there is a parameter called minimum approach. Yeah, in here that you can see that based on current condition, the minimum approach it reaches around 14.8 or 15 degrees C. Yeah. So it means that is the shorter distance between the hot curve and the cold curve is around 15 degrees C. If you would like to see about the curve, yeah, you can go to plot. Yeah, you can go to plot. Yeah, and then you can make a plot between this is temperature for the y-axis and then heat flow for the x-axis. Yeah, you can see in here about the hot curve, which is the line color is green, and then the cold curve, the line is yellow. Yeah, so the cold curve should be lower than hot stream. Yeah, cold stream should be lower or have a lower temperature compared to the hot stream in here. Yeah, and then the difference in here, yeah, it could be the at the end of the process in here, the difference is 14 degree. But again, based on the our problem definition, yeah, I can go back to the problem definition in here. Yeah, we should to have a minimum approach of 5 degree C. Yeah. What is the impact of the 5 degree C? The impact will be the efficiency of the heat transfer will be increased. Yeah. If you use the lower minimum approach. Yeah, so it's mean that is if there is a circulation, for example, for the cooling or for the heating, yeah, if you use the lower minimum approach, so the circulation will be lower, the flow rate for the circulating the heater or cooler will be lower. But at the opposite, the minimum approach means you have to provide the higher surface area of heat exchanger. Yeah, but the efficiency will increase. Yeah. So in the case that we would like to reduce the minimum approach from the current condition, which is around 15 degrees C to 5 degrees C, what you have to do, okay, you can use, for example, in this case is by using, yeah, I will go, okay, in here, I will go to the flow sheet, and then I will activate the model palette. Okay, and then I will use adjust. Yeah. What is adjust? Adjust is a kind of logic parameter or logic unit in HYSYS. In real condition, yeah, in real plan, we don't have any adjust instrument in the plan. Yeah, but in the simulation, we can do that. So this is a kind of advance of using simulation for your process that you can adjust something, yeah, to make some parameter what is kind of fulfill your requirement. Okay, for example, in this case, I would like to adjust the minimum approach of this heat exchanger from 15 degrees C to 5 degrees C. Yeah, by adjusting the temperature of stream number 5. Yeah, so what I have to do? Please activate the model palette in here. Yeah, and then click on the adjust. Yeah, after you have the adjust in here, yeah, double click the adjust. Yeah, you can click double click in adjust. Yeah, in here there will be adjusted variable and target variable. Adjusted variable means that the process parameter that you can change, yeah, until the target parameter fulfill the specific target value. Yeah. If I look at in the stream number 5, yeah, I can see that previously in the last week simulation, yeah, I put the value of minus 80 degrees C is for the gas. Yeah, actually it's not 100% correct. Yeah, we have to readjust this value, okay, until it can reach that the minimum approach of my heat exchanger reach around 5 degrees C. Okay, so how to do that one? Okay, in the adjust variable, I will click select variable. Okay, I will point out to the stream number 5 in here. Okay, and then after that, okay, I will try to find the parameter, process parameter of temperature in here. Yeah, in here I click the temperature and then click select. Okay, and then yeah, for the target variable, yeah, as we already understand, I would like to make the minimum approach of this heat exchanger, which is E101, from 15 degree into 5 degree Celsius. Okay, so I click the select variable. Okay, and then I move to my heat exchanger, which is E101. Okay, and then after that, okay, I will try to find the process parameter of a minimum approach. Yeah, so what is minimum approach? Okay, this one. Okay, I have the minimum approach. Okay, and then after that I will click select. Okay, and then for the specified target value, as already mentioned in the definition of the problem, okay, the minimum approach should be 5. So I put the value of 5 in here. Okay, it's not started yet. So I will move to the second tab, which is the parameter in here. Okay, in this tab, I have to define the numerical problems. For example, the tolerance that I have to define, yeah, which is the difference between the objective value and then calculated value. Yeah, so it's mean that if the difference between the calculated value and then the targeted value is less than tolerance, so the iteration will be stopped. Yeah, and then step size. Yeah, step size is kind of the step that I will use. For example, for the next iteration, I will add the current temperature with 10 degrees C, or will reduce with the 10 degrees C, or etc. Yeah, and then the minimum value I can set in here, that is the minimum value probably is not less than the temperature for the LNG to be liquefied, which is minus 60. And then the maximum, yeah, you can put, for example, 30 degrees C. Okay, and then for the number of iteration, maximum number of iteration, you can see, for example, 1000. Yeah, still I'm missing the tolerance, so the iteration is not started yet. Okay, so I will put the tolerance for here is, for example, 1.0.1. Okay, and then it will start the iteration, and then we can monitor in here. Okay, that is actually it's enough by using one iteration. Okay, to find the correct value of minimum approach of heat exchanger E101, which is the targeted value or minimum approach is around 5 degrees. If you do not believe about this result, you can check, double click the heat exchanger, okay, and then go to the performance and check the detail. In here, previously it's mentioned about 14 degrees C or 15 degrees C. Now the minimum approach is already changed into 5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so I think the iteration is already okay. Okay, you obtain the correct value of minimum approach following the problem definition, and then after that, okay, you can check how about the current temperature of stream number 5. You can see that is from minus 80, now is the temperature is changed into minus 80.85, okay, around minus 81. Okay, slightly different compared to the previous number. Okay, so by showing this simulation or showing the current simulation, you already know how to make an adjustment to your simulation in HYSYS. Yeah, do not forget to do this step, because adjustment is very important in HYSYS. Yeah, frequently that we will use the adjustment method. Yeah, so in order to use this one, you have to remember about the step that I already mentioned. Yeah. Okay, and then from the spreadsheet, you already know previously that you already have value in terms of the HPHP. Still remember what is the stand for the HPHP? Okay, anybody who can help me? What's the abbreviation of the HPHP?
Specific brake horsepower, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, it's correct. Specific brake horsepower. So it's becoming the specific heat to produce amount of product. Yeah, HPHP. Okay, and then is there any question? Okay, this is related to the problem definition of the minimum approach. Okay, and then after that, okay, I also have the problem definition, second problem definition, which is the main problem definition. Okay, you have to explore in here, explore the influence of the P3 temperature, which is from the 20 till 100 kilo, yeah, to the HPSP value. Yeah. Remember in the previous simulation in P3, pressure stream number 3, yeah, we define directly, for example, 50. Yeah. Now we have to change, yeah, from the 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 until 100. And then what is the influence to the value of this one, HPHP? Yeah. So how to do that one? Yeah. So please go to the case study. Yeah. In your simulation, in HiC simulation. Yeah. You can go to the left frame. Yeah. In here, in the left frame, and then you can see many tabs. Okay, for example, workbook, unit operation, stream, and etc. Okay, you can click case studies. In case studies, okay. Okay. Oh, your flow sheet is suddenly disappear. Don't forget about that. You can still click flow sheet in here to make your flow sheet appear again. Okay, but we will go to the case study tab. Okay, click add. Click add. Okay, we would like to make a sensitivity study. Okay, regarding the change of the pressure in stream number 3. Okay, so in order to do that, okay, so you have to define what is the independent variable and dependent variable. Remember to the previous courses, independent variable means that, okay, the variable that we can change or we can adjust. Okay, while dependent variable is the variable that is calculated from the simulation. So we cannot adjust, we cannot change this variable. The variable that we can change is only independent variable. Okay, so what you have to do, okay, find the variable for the independent and also find variable for the dependent variable. Okay, now my question, can we change the variable of pressure in stream number 3? Yes, it's possible. Okay, previously we put it the value of 50 kilo. Okay, but now we can change 60. It's okay. 70. Okay. Okay. So what we can do is, okay, find the variable stream number 3, which is pressure. Okay, and then I will move this pressure to the right side. Okay, as the selected, and I say done. Okay, and then for the dependent variable, I will select, okay, which is the value HPHP. Okay, we have to check first in the spreadsheet in which cell HPHP value is located. Okay, which is B cell B4. Okay, B4. Okay, I will turn back to the tab of case studies. I will click find variable and then I select the spreadsheet because the calculation of the HPHP is located in the spreadsheet number 1. Okay, so I will select spreadsheet number 1. Okay, and then select the cell, the location for the HPSP calculation, which is in cell B4. Okay, so I will go in here and then I will click done. Okay, so I will have the one independent variable and one dependent variable. Okay, so what I have to do after this, okay, so I will again, just wait a moment. Okay, I will go to the case study setup. Okay. Okay, in terms of pressure, okay, I will start from the current, just current 50, for example, and then and with the 100 kilo, yeah, and then step size, for example, is only 5. Okay, so the sensitivity study have the increment, yeah, 5 kilo, start from the 50, yeah, goes up to the, for example, 55, and then move again to the 60, 65, 30, until at the end it's around 100 kilo. Yeah, and then for this variation, I will have 11 point or 11 step. Okay, and then after that, yeah, I will go to the click run. Okay, so the HYSYS will conduct the simulation. Okay, and then I will go after that is the to the result. Yeah. Okay, and then I will see the plot. Plot value. Yeah, I think still calculating. Yeah, because when it's calculate, so it takes time. Yeah, it's already in here. So variables. Okay, wait a moment. Why is not appear yet? Okay, the result is already appear, but okay, this one. Yeah, can you see the result? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the result of our sensitivity study. Yeah, regarding the variation of pressure in stream number 3, yeah, to the HPHP value. Yeah, you can see here, yeah, by changing the pressure of stream number 3, yeah, for example, from 50 kilo to 100, yeah, I can have that the SPSP value, which is located in the cell B4 in the spreadsheet number 1, yeah, is also decreasing. Yeah, so this is a kind of okay, advantage of this simulation. When you do the simulation, you can know the influence of the change of a specific parameter to the other parameter. Yeah, for example, in this case, actually, when I increase the pressure of the P3, which is the outlet of the compressor, yeah, actually I will have a more efficient process, yeah, which is the specific heats which will be much reduced. Yeah, how do we know? Yes, by doing this kind of simulation, by doing this kind of a sensitivity study. Yeah, if I change the pressure of outlet of the compressor, so I will have the lower value of a specific heat. Yeah, so please also understand and also remember about this step, how to do the sensitivity study, yeah, of changing one parameter and then what's the influence to the other parameters. Yeah, so by doing this one, yeah, you can have okay, understanding that is the parameter of P3, yeah, parameter P3 will influence so much to the specific power of the process. Yeah, for example, in this case, when you have around 50 kilo as the outlet of the P3, yeah, you require the SPSP value is around 300. Yeah, but you can reduce almost half. Yeah, when you increase the P3, the pressure of stream number 2, yeah, into only, for example, 160 in terms of HPSP, yeah, at the pressure of 100 kilo. Yeah, you will understand about this one by doing the sensitivity study. Okay. Okay. Do you have any comment? Do you have any question regarding these two things that we did we already did this morning. First is adjusting the parameter, and then second is doing the sensitivity study by using case studies of HYSYS. Do you have any comment? Is it enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if it's enough, I will move to the what is the today topics, yeah, which is related with the okay, I will move first to okay this one, okay, and then for today topics, I would like to start with something which is very simple. Okay, I will start with the pipeline evaluation. Okay, and then I will focus on the slugging and the problem in the pipeline, which is the hydrodynamic, and then also related with the parameter-parameter that we have concerned when we evaluate the pipeline. Okay, and then for the homework, I have give you first homework. Yeah, so first is read and summarize the chapter 16, which is deal with the process input and output model. Yeah, so chapter 16 is located in the section 4 of the book of Turton. The title of the book is the Analysis, Synthesis, and Design of Chemical Processes. Yeah, please go to the section number 4 and then see the chapter 16. Yeah, chapter 16 is actually try to explain you how to define, how to make a clear input and output model or analysis. Okay, as I mentioned before, okay, to understand about the problem, to understand about the process, you have to define clearly, okay, about the input and output, about the feedstock and about the product, the specification of inlet and the specification of the outlet. Yeah, so please read and summarize chapter number 16 and also the chapter number 18, section 18.2. Yeah, this same section number 4 of the book of Turton. Yeah, which is related with the application on fluid flow. Yeah, so chapter number 18, especially 18.2, is related with the rotating equipment. Yeah, application of fluid flow. Yeah, it's related with the pump and compressor. Yeah, so this homework, yeah, you have a chance to submit it for 2 weeks. Okay, for 2 weeks. So manage your time, okay, to be able to submit your homework on time. Yeah, the submission can be done online. Okay, through you can submit to my email. This is a personal, yeah, personal homework, not a group homework. Yeah. So send it to me by email personally. Okay. Is it clear related with the homework number 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I will continue for today class. Okay, this material related with the pipe flow. But before going to this pipeline, I think I much better to first discuss with you related with the okay. Yeah. Okay, I have an Excel here. Okay, I will mix, for example, this is make a table, which is the B column is a number, and then C, I will call it as the process equipment. Okay, I will D is what is the function of the process equipment, and then how to evaluate. And F is what is the outcome. Okay, now, okay, we have discussion. So please open your mic, yeah. Open your mic, and then if you have any comment, suggestion, yeah, please say it directly, yeah. Or you can say through the what is the message, yeah, chat message in the. Okay, but I have difficulty, yeah, to look at this one. Okay, I will try to do that. Okay. 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 Number one. Please say something about the process equipment. Start from the simplest one. Yeah. When you visit chemical industry, or when you visit the plant, chemical plant. Yeah. Could you tell me what is the simplest, yeah, process equipment there?
The
Separator, sir.
reactor, sir.
Pardon?
Separator, sir.
Separator. Okay. Yeah, I said separator. Okay. What others? Anybody else?
Reactor, sir.
Oh, reactor. Yeah. Okay. Any others? The most simple one.
A pipe, sir.
Pardon?
A pipe.
Pipe. Okay. And then, is there
Pump.
any equipment that is okay? Pump.
Compressor.
Compressor.
Storage tank, sir.
Okay, it's good. Storage tank. Yeah. Okay. What is the definition of simple, sir? That you mentioned. Yes, I mean that is that unit is there. Yeah. Probably has a very simple function. Yeah. Very simple function. They don't need to do something look like the evaporation. They don't need to do such kind of distillation that have to fractionate the component. Okay, they don't have to need to increase the temperature, lowering the temperature, or need to increase the pressure or lowering the pressure, and stuff. Yeah. So when we look at the simple function of the process equipment, yeah, we will end up with the storage tank is the simplest one. Yeah. What is the function of storage tank? Okay. The one that I mentioned about storage tank?
To store chemicals,
to store
sir.
chemicals. Yeah, liquid chemicals. Okay. Sometimes also gas also possible. Okay, but limited. Okay. For example, I give you an example. For example, in the LPG, yeah, LPG tank or any what is gas tank. Yeah, sometimes they store the gas. Yeah. Okay. So store the chemicals. Yeah. And now the question is how to evaluate. This question is something look like this one. When you come to the chemical plant, okay, you see sometimes the tank is very big. Sometimes the tank is quite small. Okay, and then sometimes the storage tank is okay, in between. It's not good, not big, also not very small. Okay, so how to evaluate that one? When do we need to provide a big storage tank, and when do we need it's not good to provide the big one? Okay, it's better the smaller one. Okay, so answering this question, so you have to know about how to evaluate that one, how to evaluate the storage. Okay, how to evaluate? if there is a question, if your boss asks, yeah, oh, we need a tank, sir. Yeah. So and then the boss answer, okay, what is the size of your tank? What
It
the
depends on
size?
the flow rate.
Okay, it's depend on the flow rate. And then after that, I know about the flow rate.
Depends on the phase, sir.
Depend on the phase. You mean that is liquid phase or gas phase? Something like that one?
Yeah, liquid, gas, or solid.
Phase or
Or
liquid
solid, silo. Yeah,
or
the
gas.
phase.
Okay, any others?
Depends on the operation, sir, because storage tank is can be used sometimes as a steady state and sometimes as an unsteady state. So depends on the inlet and the outlet flow rate as well.
Yeah, I mean that is the same with the previous. Yeah, you mentioned about the flow rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, in the flow rate. Any others? The things
Depends
that
on the production ratio, sir. The production ratio of the factory.
yeah, production is mean that the flow rate could be the production flow rate, right?
All right, sir.
Yeah, okay. And then any others?
The reactivity of the chemicals, because some chemicals are more reactive than others, so it requires more.
Reactivity of chemical. Okay, okay. The reactivity chemical can very reactive or not. Depend on the what chemical that we would like to store, right? Yeah. And then any others?
Also the pressure and the temperature that you want to store the chemical in.
Okay, pardon, sorry. What else? Pressure?
The temperature and the pressure.
Pressure, temperature. Any others?
Chemical properties, sir.
What kind of property that you want to highlight?
Maybe if it's corrosive.
Yeah, I mean that is the same like previous, yeah, reactivity of chemical.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Any others?
The materials of the storage tank.
Materials. Okay, the material of the storage tank. Okay. Any others?
The location of the plant, of the storage tank.
Location, what is the impact to the big or not big? Is there any impact, the location?
Maybe like the availability of the space.
Oh, availability of the space. Okay, gitu ya. Okay. Okay, any others? Okay, I think it's enough. Okay, the things that I have to evaluate. How do we evaluate about the storage tank? Okay, actually that in the case of the evaluation, it depends on the what is the outcomes. Okay, when we evaluate some things, okay, we have to end up with the outcomes that we would like to provide. Okay, for example, okay, in evaluating the storage tank, sometimes that the outcome is, for example, dimension. Dimension in dimension is outcome. What is the dimension? This dimension is look like the diameter, okay, height, and thickness. Okay, this is the outcome of the storage tank. Okay, diameter, height, and thickness. Okay, sometimes also the materials. Okay, now how to evaluate about diameter and height? Okay, in the case of diameter and height, when you calculate these two parameters, it will end up with the volume. volume of the storage tank. Is it correct? Yeah. So if you have a volume, yeah, you will have the parameter of diameters of the storage tank. For example, if you have your storage in a cylindrical form, yeah, and then the height of that one, it will also define the volume of the liquid or the fluid that exists in the vessel. Yeah. So now, yeah, how to define about the correct number of diameter and height? Okay, so it's depend on the flow rate. Is it correct? Yeah, but the flow rate has the unit. Yeah, flow rate in here usually has the unit of volumetric flow per time basis. Yeah, but in this outcome of the storage, it's only volume. Okay, so to connect between flow rate and then the dimension, which is the volume of the storage, so the evaluation is based on what is called as the residence time. Okay, this is the important parameters. Okay, so when you evaluate whether the storage tank is enough or not enough, okay, for your new process or changing in terms of process, okay, you already have the existing dimension, the existing diameter, the existing height, and also the existing volume, okay, and then you have the change in terms of flow rate. So in order to answer the question enough or not enough, you have to compare the current resident times, yeah, with the previous design resident times. Is it clear to you? Hello, anybody? It's clear, yeah?
It's clear, sir.
Yeah, because what I mentioned in here is when you becoming an engineer, when you are becoming an engineer, the question from your boss will be very, very simple. Okay, if you would like to construct a storage tank, okay, your boss will ask, okay, in what size that we have to construct the storage tank? What is the diameter and then what is the height? Something only like that one. That is the simple, okay, the simple question. So we have to define the correct method of evaluation, okay, to give the answer on the what is the height and then what is the diameter, okay, by knowing the resident times. In the case that the production flow rate is A, okay, and then your resident time is B, okay, so A multiplied by B, which is it will be shown as a volume. Okay, so volume can be breakdown into height and diameter. Okay, so we need the correlation of resident time between to connect between flow rate of the product and then dimension as an outcome of your storage tank. Yeah. Now defining resident time, it depends usually on the transportation. Okay, for example, okay, if you produce a product, liquid product such as methanol or ethanol, okay, usually it will located in the near the sea, yeah, on the beach, yeah, and then the transportation will use a tanker or will use the ship, yeah, ship, yeah. So again, the resident times will depend on the how many times of how frequent your ship coming to your plant. It will define the resident time. For example, okay, the ship will come, okay, one times for 24 hours. So it's mean that is your resident time in here, yeah. Thus your storage can store the product, yeah, keep the product for 24 hours, yeah, before it's delivered to the ship, yeah, for the transportation, yeah, something like that one. Yeah, so please remember, yeah, regarding the storage tank, the resident time, yeah, will connect between your flow rate and dimension. Yeah, and then how about the thickness? Yeah, the thickness, yeah, will define from the pressure, yeah, from the material that you will use. Yeah, so how to connect about the thickness and then the pressure? Yeah, we will evaluate that in the spirator. Yeah, there is equation about that one. Yeah, and then how about the thickness and then the reactivity of the chemical? Yeah, in the case of the reactive chemical, for example, your chemical is very corrosive. Yeah, you have to calculate, yeah, about the corrosion rate. Yeah, we will also discuss about the corrosion rate in the spirator, yeah, in the next week class. Okay, and then after calculating that one, you will define the thickness. Okay, so in this case, there are so many parameters you have to deal with. Yeah, the important one you have to understand on how about the correlation that could connect between the process parameter, yeah, to the outcome of the unit. Yeah, for example, that the flow rate to connect with the dimension, you need the correlation of resident time. Okay, if you want to need the thickness as the outcome of your storage tank, you need the pressure. So you need the correlation between the pressure and then the thickness. Okay, in terms of the corrosion, okay, you have to calculate the corrosion rate. Okay, to connect between your parameter of chemical reactivity with it, how the thickness of your storage tank. Okay, this is the example that the things that you have to understand, okay, when you evaluate in the plan. Yeah, okay, I will come back to that. Okay, to the slide. Okay. Okay. This is the previous is the simplest unit operation that you already know how to evaluate. Yeah, and then the second, probably a bit complicated. Yeah, but a bit I think that is not very complicated. Yeah, is pipeline. Yeah, and then there are two terminology about the pipeline. The first one is trunk line and flow line. Okay, do you know the difference between trunk line and flow line? Someone can differentiate between trunk line and flow line? What is the difference? This terminology is usually used in the petrochemical, okay, trunk line and flow line. Who can answer this one? No? Or this is the first time that you hear about the trunk line and flow line? Okay. Trunk line is usually the pipeline system that connect between the well and then the plant. Okay. While flow line is connect between the plant to the consumer. Okay. So trunk line is the upstream pipeline. Yeah, and then flow line is downstream pipeline. Yeah, that's the difference. Okay, and then to evaluate this one, yeah, usually there is a kind of the study, yeah, called as the flow assurance, which is used to assure the transportation of fluid of gas or liquid. Yeah, so flow assurance study is very useful to ensure that the flow is smooth. Yeah, in the flow assurance, yeah, there are 5 major aspects that we would like to evaluate. The first one is related with the pipeline corrosion. The second one is pipeline erosion, hydrate formation, wax scale formation, and also slug regime. Yeah, this is the evaluation that usually we conduct minimal, okay, in the minimum for the flow assurance. Okay, and then all above aspects should be evaluated before the design, and also, yeah, when the pipeline is already exists there, and then you evaluate for a new feed system, yeah, or new well, for example, new fluid, yeah, you have to conduct this flow assurance evaluation. Yeah, not many flow assurance engineer in Indonesia. Yeah, so if you want to be a very specialist in flow assurance, yeah, I believe that will be many company looking for you. Yeah, because the flow assurance is quite not many. Yeah, and then the corrosion. Yeah, we know about the corrosion is due to the acid concentration. For example, that our fluid consists of acid component, CO2, H2S, and etc. Yeah, that can create corrosion. Okay, for the hydrate, okay, for example, the water, okay, environmental temperature can create the hydrate. If you have a hydrocarbon, okay, fluid, and then water, and then the temperature environment is quite low, okay, they can produce hydrate. Okay. Sometimes people say hydrate is equal to icing, but the difference is in the hydrate, it's occur above 0 degree C. Okay. In the case of icing is always occur in below 0 degree C. But if you found sometimes look like icing, but the temperature is still above 0 degree Celsius, so it's called hydrate. Yeah, so that's the simple definition of the hydrate. And then the third one is about the wax or scale. It's because the content of paraffinic, and then the carbonate for the scale. Okay, and then usually also it's come with the very viscous fluid. Yeah, in the viscous fluid, yeah, the number of carbon is usually very high, and it tends to deposit in your pipeline. So it can create the wax, and also it can create scale. Yeah, for the carbonate, or for the scale, especially for the scale, is also occur in the pipeline system for the water. Yeah, in your tap water, for example, you can find, for example, the solid, white solid particle. Yeah, when you check your, for example, valve, yeah, in your tap water, yeah, sometimes you can find white deposition. Yeah, this is a kind of scaling due to the carbonate. Yeah, that's very common. Yeah, in the plant, also in the industrial plant, for example, the cooling water using water, yeah, it also could be frequently found. Yeah, the solid deposition, white solid deposition, similar the one that we found in our tap water valve. Yeah. And then the mitigation, for example, for the non-corrosive, to make it non-corrosive is quite difficult. Yeah. So usually that we provide the pipeline which has the resistance to the corrosion itself. For example, the chrome 13, yeah, or we provide the duplex stainless steel, yeah, to protect from the corrosion problem. Yeah, so this is the design for the pipelines. Quite important to understand. Okay, to evaluate about the feed composition that we have. Yeah, to avoid the pipeline corrosion. Yeah, and the case of the hydrate and the wax scale. Yeah, we try to avoid the problem. Yeah, by using the chemical inhibitor. Yeah, for the hydrate, usually that we have hydrate curve. Yeah, so we can manipulate. Yeah, hydrate curve. We can move the hydrate formation point by adding alcohol, for example, ethanol, methanol. But methanol is try to avoid because methanol is toxic. Yeah, some people using ethanol. Okay, and then also for the wax and scale. Yeah, by manipulate the solubility of fluid. How to manipulate the solubility of fluid? Yeah, we can play with the higher temperature. Yeah, when we make it higher temperature, so the solubility will increase. Yeah, so remember that the carbonate deposition is due to the solubility of the solid particle in the liquid. Yeah, if you still remember about the basic chemistry course, yeah, sometimes called the KSP. Yeah, all in Indonesia hasil kali kerarutan. Nah, that one is the terminology. It's for the solubility. Yeah, and then the wax similar, something like that one. We can manipulate, yeah, the solubility of the wax by changing the temperature. Other parameters such temperature, we can also play with the pH. Yeah, the pH will also make a differentiate in terms of the solubility. Yeah, sometimes higher pH will increase the solubility, but sometimes also lower pH make the higher solubility. So it's depend on the chemical that we play with. Yeah. Okay. Or managing the speed to avoid the position of a solid material. Yeah, so to make it to avoid the wax or the scale, sometimes that we make the superficial velocity or linear velocity of the fluid inside the pipeline is fast enough, yeah, not to deposit any particle or any solid during the transportation. Yeah, that one is by managing the speed to avoid the position of chemical. Yeah, so now I'm going to the come back to the my slide. Okay, and then we have discussion again. Okay, now I will go to number 3, pipeline. What is the function? Okay, somebody mention to me function.
Delivery.
Transport of fluids.
Pardon?
Delivery.
Okay, for the delivery or transportation, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, how to evaluate? Similar like the previous question, like storage tank. Okay, my boss tell me that is okay. You have boss to deliver the fluid, okay, or to transport the fluid. You need the pipeline. Okay, your boss asking, yeah. Okay, I will provide the pipe. Okay, what diameter that you require? Okay, so again, you have to answer about how to evaluate that one. The outcome it will be the dimension of the pipe. For example, the diameter. Ya kan? Is it correct? The outcome will be diameter of pipe. Correct, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now, what is the method to evaluate? How is the way to evaluate? In the previous storage tank, okay, to connect between the flow rate and dimension, we have the residence time. How about now about the pipe? Okay, about diameter of the pipe, I think it's the same, yeah. it will be depend on flow rate of your liquid, which has the dimension is volume divided by time. Yeah, volume flow, volumetric flow divided by time, and then your outcome is diameter of the pipe. So what kind of correlation that you require to connect between the flow rate and diameter of pipe? In the previous, you need the resident times to correct, but in this case, is there anybody to try to answer? No? No idea? Okay, I will help you. Okay. In the case that I have 100 meter cubic per second of fluid, that one is volumetric flow divided by temperature, by time. Okay. 100 meter cubic is volumetric flow, and then T is time, second. Okay. Can I use the pipe diameter of 1 centimeters? What's your opinion? I have liquid with a flow rate of 100 meter cubic per second. And then I will use the pipe with diameter of 1 centimeters. Can I use that one?
No, sir.
No? Why is the answer is no?
The velocity will be very high.
Okay, the velocity will be very high. What is the impact of the high velocity?
Because there's this velocity threshold where if it's exceeded the velocity threshold, then it will erode the.
Yeah.
The
Okay. Yeah. So in this case, the connect between the volumetric flow and then the dimension of the pipe, which is diameter of the pipe. Okay. Because if you buy the pipe, so the first question is the which diameter. It's always, if you have buy pipe, any kind of pipe, you can go to the to any shop. Yeah. And then I would like to buy the pipe for tap water. They will question which diameter that you want to buy, 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch, something like that. 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch is kind of diameter of the pipe that you will use. Okay, so it still will be the question. And then to answer that question, you need a method to evaluate, which is actually that the limitation of linear velocity. Yeah. So if you know about your linear velocity, okay, you will be able to calculate the requirement of pipe diameter, yeah, based on your flow rate that given to you. Yeah. So please remember about that one. Yeah, that we require that in this case to evaluate is depend on the linear velocity that you would like to select. Yeah. So this one is actually that show to you about the how to calculate the linear velocity. Yeah. In order to calculate the linear velocity, yeah, you have to know about the one material that you use for the pipe, yeah, and then the density of your fluid. Yeah, so VGR is the critical linear velocity is equal to C, which is the function of the fluid, material, and type of corrosion. For example, In the case of the carbon steel, you use the carbon steel, yeah, GS, yeah, or mild steel, yeah. The C value is usually 100. In the case that you use, for example, the stainless steel, yeah, the stronger pipe, yeah, the C value will be 350, which is maximum. Okay, and then C divided by square root of density. Density is the average of the fluid. So when you have gas and liquid, so it will be the average between gas and liquid. Yeah, the average density in here. Yeah, or if you don't want to calculate this one, yeah, we have a general rule of thumb. Yeah, again, this is the general rule of thumb. Some things that we earn when obtain from the plan, from the from the field, yeah, from the previous experience during the plan operation. That for the gas, the critical velocity, linear critical velocity will be 20 meters per second or 60 feet per second. And then the liquid, it will be 2.1 meter per second. Yeah, this is the rule of thumb. Yeah, so if you don't want, if you don't have the information, for example, about the material, you don't have any further information about the fluid, you just know this is the liquid of gas or liquid. Okay, you can use this general rule of thumb. Okay, and then for the sand type or slurry type, yeah, they will have a different calculation, because the presence of the solid in the slurry, okay, or the presence of sand in your fluid, okay, give more prone to have a abrasive condition. Okay, so they will have the different equation. Okay, in calculation generally, okay, the flow will be less than 2.1 meter per second. Okay, usually is 0.5 till 0.7, so it's quite very slow. Okay, when your fluid consists of sand, okay, consists of solid, or sometimes called as slurry. Okay, in the slurry condition, it will be okay in slower. Okay, that one is the first parameter that we would like to evaluate, which is the diameter. And then the second one is about the slugging. Slugging only occur in the 2 or 3 phase flow system. It will not occur in the single phase. So to avoid slugging is usually we separate between gas and liquid. This is very common. That is in the processing plant. For example, gas processing plant or the crude oil processing plant. Yeah, the first unit that you use is to separate the phase between gas and liquid in order to avoid the sucking problem in the plant pipeline. Yeah, so they will use the this one. Okay, many type of slugging. Okay, for example, hydrodynamic slugging, terrain slugging. And there is one condition that we cannot avoid the slugging problem, which is when we have the pipeline from the well to the plant. Okay, there will be no separation there, because the separation conducted in the plant. But now you have the pipeline from the well to the plant. So the well, the fluid well coming from the well is usually 3-phase fluid. Okay, there is a gas, there is a liquid, like liquid, and also heavy liquid. So there is a tendency that the slugging problem will occur during the transportation from the well to the plant. Yeah. Okay. There are many types of slugging. Yeah, hydrodynamic slugging, terrain slugging. Okay, this is the mitigation when we have a slugging problem. Yeah, the first mitigation, as I mentioned before, is the spiration. Yeah, try to spare it between gas and liquid. Why? Because when you have single phase, for example, gas phase only or the liquid fluid only, there will be no slugging problem. Yeah, so spiration is the way to do that one. The second one, yeah, try to convert or try to transform your two phase into single phase. Yeah, for example, by dehydration. So it's mean that if you have, for example, in the liquid, probably it consists of water. Yeah, so it's your gas is wet gas because of consists of water. Try to remove the water. How to remove the water? In the plant, we have a unit called as dehydration unit or DHU. Yeah, or if you have consists of the heavy hydrocarbon, yeah, for example C6, C7, C8, yeah, try to remove that one in the unit called as dew point control unit, yeah, or TPCU. TPCU is used actually to drop or to knock out any heavy hydrocarbon that exists in your gas. Okay, or the way that they use also in many plant, usually in the not the plant, yeah, usually in the subsea pipeline, they use the heating system, the insulation. Yeah, in the Pertamina, for example, in Pertamina in the North Sea and North Java, yeah, they use the heating system, yeah, to avoid the formation of condensation. Okay, so they heat the pipeline. Okay, by heating that one, they maintain the fluid in the gas phase. Yeah, so this is the way that we try to avoid the sagging. This is the example. Yeah, for example, this one is the sperator. Yeah, in the Borneo Island. Yeah, Pechico is located also in the Borneo. This plant is ex Total. Yeah, now it's becoming PHM, Pertamina Hulu Mahakam. Yeah, Pechico onshore plant located in Borneo. Okay, I will. This is the type of the sperator. Yeah, many type of sperator. Yeah, so the sperator will split or will spirit between gas and liquids. Sometimes we call it as a slug catcher. Yes, so if you heard about the slug catcher, so it means that the sperator try to spirit gas liquid gas system, yeah, in order to avoid the slugging. Okay, and then in every slug, yeah, every condition for the 2 or 3 phase, yeah, usually they have a chart. Yeah, is it clear? The chart in here in my presentation. Hello, anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's clear, yeah.
Yes.
So how to avoid the slug? Yeah, slug is a combination between superficial gas velocity in x-axis and then y-axis is superficial liquid velocity. Yeah, so remember about y-axis in here, superficial liquid velocity, and then x-axis, yeah, is the superficial gas velocity. Yeah, so if you want to have or you want to avoid the slug, yeah, for example, slug in this area, you can do is, yeah, put it your operation to the right side. Yeah, because the good one is located in the annular. Annular is mean that is there will be spirited. Annular is look like the ring. Yeah, I mean that is inside the pipe. Okay, surrounding the surface of the pipe is a liquid, but in the middle, yeah, in the middle it's gas. Yeah, this is one annular. Yeah, a type of annular. The annular has no problem, but the slug we have various problem when we have this condition. Yeah. So in order to avoid the slug condition, try to move it to the annular one. Yeah. So it's mean that is the way that you have to do is the increasing the gas velocity. Yeah. We will discuss later about that one in the case. Yeah. I mean that is this is the example of the problem of the slugging. Yeah. For example, it start from the number 1. As you know, that is in the slug problem, the gas cannot pass through the liquid. So there will be an accumulation of the gas in here, yeah, in the pipeline. Yeah. As the gas is produced, always produced, so it will high enough, okay, high enough to push the liquid. Okay, but the liquid is also accumulated. Okay, pushing the liquid in here, so there will be a problem in the separator. Because why? Your liquid will go to the separator in very high amount in here. Okay, in high amount, and then after that, okay, it sometimes it makes look like in the graph, the below graph. Number 1, okay, in the separator there will be no liquid. And then suddenly number 3, you have very high amount of liquid in your separator, and after that you don't have any liquid production. This is the problem that we have in the slugging condition. So it will make a transient condition related with the pressure. Okay, as in here, you can see in this graph, okay, the fluctuation of the pressure. Okay, previously the pressure is quite low. Okay, but due to the accumulation of the gas, because the gas is always producing, and then but they cannot pass through the liquid. Okay, so it will increase until 140. Okay, when it's enough to push the liquid, yeah, the liquid will go to the separator, and then after that, no pressure again. Okay, and then accumulate again the pressure high enough to push the liquid. Okay, and then increasing again till 140, and no pressure again. Okay, so there will be a fluctuation in terms of the pressure. Okay, why the fluctuation of pressure becoming a problem? It will difficult for you, okay, to make steady state condition if you have a fluctuation of pressure. For example, in here, the fluctuation is a pressure from 20 bar to 140 bar. Okay, how do you design the process if you have the fluctuation of the pressure? Okay, very difficult one. Okay, when your pressure is varied from 20 till 140. Usually for the good operation, the separator is becoming a key. Okay, we maintain almost stable pressure in the separator, but in this condition, it will be very, very difficult. And the second is for the designing the material for the vessel, for example, the thickness of the pressure. So it's mean that the thickness of your material should be able to handle 140 bar, which is very, very thick material there. Okay, so this is the problem that we have to face. Okay, how to solve this one? We will do the what is the evaluation. Okay, the first one is by gas lift injection. Okay, as I mentioned before, the one way to move from the slugging to the annular is by increasing the linear velocity of the gas. So you inject gas in order to increase the velocity of the gas. Okay, from the blue curve in here, okay, it will end up with the green in here. So it means it's stable. Okay, this is the by gas lift injection. Okay, this is I think just additional information. This is the software that you usually use, okay, for the pipeline evaluation. Okay, okay. Is there any question regarding the? Yes, please.
My name is Farrell. I have a question. What about the gases of the gas lift? What are the gases, and can we use liquid additives to prevent slugging? Thank you.
Okay, so how about the gas? So usually for the for the gas lift, yeah, I can make a figure in here. Okay, the ways. Wait a moment, I will try to make it a picture in here. How to avoid the gas leak? Usually, yeah, in the sparator, when you have a sparator, okay, I will try to. Yeah. Is it clear, my word, MS Word?
Clear.
Clear, yeah? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I will try to make a image in here to explain in image. Yeah. So you will produce gas in here and liquid in the bottom. Okay. Two-phase flow will coming from here, which is usually is coming from the pipeline. This is the pipeline. Okay. So what you have to do is to avoid the slugging. First, that you have to separate between gas. This is a gas. This is gas. And this liquid. And then what you have to do, okay, in this case, you put a compressor. Okay, I hope that I can have the compressor in here. Okay, but there is no symbol of compressor. Okay, I just use this symbol. Okay, say this one is unit a compressor. Okay, and then what I have to do is, okay, the gas that coming here, I connect with the compressor. Okay, and then this compressor will increase the pressure. Okay, and then I re-inject the gas outlet from the compressor here. Okay, so I can say in here is that this one is two-phase flow. Sorry. Two-phase flow area, and then slugging occur. Yeah, so this one is the compressor. Okay, yeah, so it's clear to you. So I have two-phase flow in here, yeah, and then slug occur. What I have to do, I will separate between gas and liquid, and then the outlet of the gas from the sparator, I will put to the compressor, and then I will connect the outlet of the compressor with the pipeline. Yeah, and then what does it mean? So I will return back to this chart. Okay, I hope the chart is big enough to you. Okay, remember my position is in the slug. To make annular in the right side in here, yeah, you have to increase the superficial gas velocity. What I have to do, I have to move in the right side. Okay, how to increase the superficial gas velocity at the volumetric of the gas? Yeah, if you have the same pipe, okay, how to increase the superficial velocity? Increase the volumetric flow of the gas. By increasing the volumetric flow of the gas, okay, so you will increase the linear velocity of the gas. Okay, so it means that is you move from the slug region, okay, to the annular region by increasing the gas. How to increase the gas? Okay, the way that I explained to you is the way of the gas lift method. Okay, so I have separator, I separate the gas and the liquid, and then I re-inject the gas. Yeah, so it's mean that is in this pipe, yeah, where a slug occurs, yeah, the gas will be 2 times higher rather than before. Why? Because I re-inject the gas produced from the separator. I re-inject again. Yeah, so it will be 2 times. 2 times volumetric pipeline is the same, so the linear velocity of the gas will be higher. Yeah, the superficial velocity will be faster. Yeah, in the case that the faster or higher linear velocity, so it means that I shift from the slug region to the annular region. Okay, Farah, is clear to you? Hello?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. No, if you're still not clear, please, yeah, ask me, and then I will try to make it more clear again. Okay.
Can I ask, is there any other options other than injecting gas, like liquid additives and such? No.
Okay. In terms of liquid additive, no. Yeah. Usually we never use the in the slug. We will never use the what is liquid additive for that one. So that is the reason that I mentioned to you. Yeah. The first mitigation to avoid the slugging is the separation between gas and liquid to make it single phase gas or single phase liquid. Yes, the only what is this the common method to do that one. Yeah. So for example, by the dew point or the dehydration or heating. Yeah. In the case of the what is seabed pipeline, usually they use the heating. Okay, heating method to evaporate all the condensate that probably produced during the transportation. So the heat to make it into vapor. Yeah, that one is the way of what is to avoid the slugging. Any others?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other question? Okay, is it clear about the today class? If it's clear, so I will move to the our case. Yeah, case number 2. Yeah, because the case number 1 I already gave it to you, and then this is the case number 2. Yeah. What is the probably the simulation will be conducted next week. Yeah, I just give the brief explanation to you regarding the one that we will do the simulation. I got this case is coming from the one of the CPP located in Sulawesi. Yeah, they face the same problem of slugging. Yeah, the one that we discussed. Yeah. Because why? Because if you look at in the pipeline system in here, yeah, the gas is coming is from this manifold. Yeah, manifold is the what is the kind of mixer. Yeah, header manifold is header mixer. Mixer is a kind of the pipe that combine all of the input coming from the any wells. Okay, so this is the manifold. Okay, this manifold has to deliver the liquid from this manifold to the separator. Separator is here. This is the separator. So the pipeline goes to the bottom, straight surface the what is in the land, go up to the pipe rack, and then go horizontal, okay, and then go to the separator. So when you look at the what is the elevation of the pipeline, okay, so from the manifold, okay, it will go down straight above the surface, okay, and then go up to the pipe rack, and then move straight horizontal in the pipe rack, and then go down again, and then go up again to the separator. This is the what is pipeline system in that manifold to the separator. So the problem is they are facing the problem of slugging. Okay, so as the engineer, yeah, you have to propose a way how to avoid this kind of slugging problem. Yeah, because when you have a slugging, as I mentioned before, yeah, there will be a fluctuation of pressure. Yeah, why there will be fluctuation of pressure? Because gas cannot penetrate to the liquid, but gas is always produced. Okay, when gas produce, so there will be an accumulation pressure of the gas. When the gas pressure is high enough to push the liquid, so it will push the liquid to the separator. Okay, when gas is pushing liquid to the separator, so there will be sudden accumulation of gas, of liquid in the separator, and sometimes it make the separator volume is not enough. And also, yeah, it sometimes make the fluctuation of pressure. Yeah, because why? Because the gas suddenly push the liquid, give the high pressure, and suddenly the pressure is lost. Something like that one. Okay. So in this case, we are facing the problem of what is fluctuation of slugging, and create the fluctuation of pressure. So again, as the chemical engineer, you have been challenged how to avoid this condition. Yeah, what is your purpose to avoid this condition, to create the smooth operation of this condition? Yeah, and then definition of gas is already mentioned in here. Yeah, so it means that there will be a flow rate, temperature, pressure, and then the component. Yeah, in here, and then this one. Okay. Yeah, so I think because the time is already 10:36. Yeah, I think we still have time. Yeah. Okay. We will try to solve this one. Okay, but in the time that I have to stop, okay, we will continue next week. I think still okay. Okay. Is it okay for you, or do you have any preference?
It's okay, sir.
Pardon?
It's okay, sir.
Say, oh, it's okay. Okay. So I will start with the new simulation, with the new case. Okay. And then I will define the component, because in ISIS I have to define first the component. Okay. I will put all of the component there. For example, the H2S. I will put in here H2S. Okay, and then CO2. Okay, and then nitrogen. Nitrogen. And then after that H2O. And then this one is the C1 till yeah, C1 till until C10, yeah, C1 until C10. Okay, I will add. Okay, it's already C1 till C10, and then the N is the, oh, okay. We will have the, in this case, is hypothetical component. What is hypothetical component? It's actually a lump component of the individual component. Okay, what we have to do is okay. We can go to this one is pure component. I will move to this one is the hypothetical. Yeah. Okay, I will not create hypo, just batch hypo, just edit create and edit hypo. Okay, I will start with the new hypo. Okay, and then I will double click in here, and then I will change the name of this hypo into that C11 plus. Okay, and then after that, I will put the value of the critical. For example, in this one, the information that I obtain from this problem is the molecular weight is around 208.1. Okay, so I will put this information to 108.1. Okay, and then after that, I will put second information, which is the ideal liquid density. Okay, ideal liquid density, which is around 46. Okay, ideal liquid density is 46.88. What is the? Wait a moment. I will move this one and then okay, this one. Okay, ideal liquid density it should be 46.88. Okay, pound per feet. Okay, this one pound per. Okay, if we don't have any other information related this hypothetical, yeah, we can estimate unknown properties by clicking the tab of estimate unknown property button. Yeah, I click here. Yeah, they will try to obtain other information, for example, normaling boiling point, temperature, pressure, volume critical, and acidity factor. Okay, based on the calculation. Okay, based on the mathematical equation. But in the case that you have information related with the, for example, critical temperature, please put it. Okay, if you have many of the parameter of hypothetical that you put in the system, in the simulation, yeah, so the hypothetical component that you simulate will close enough to the system that you have, or the hypothetical component that you have in the field. Yeah, so please put it as many as information possible. Yeah, but in my case, I only have two property, which is molecular weight and then ideal liquid density information. So I just put two. Okay, and the others I estimate, okay, based on the HYSYS calculation. Okay, if it's okay, so I will close this one. And then after I define this one, so I can add. Okay, I click this one and then I add. Okay, so this will become my last component, this one. Okay. After that, after all component is already defined, so I will move to the fluid package. Okay, I will add the fluid package, which is I will add Pang Robinson. Okay. Oh, this one is why there is H2. Oh, I make a mistake. Yeah. I think I make a mistake. This is not H2. I should put the water. H2O. Oh, this one. Okay, so I will click this one and this one I will replace. Okay. So I will have the water, not the hydrogen peroxide. Okay. and then I've moved back to the basis, and then I will select the Peng Robinson. Yeah, I think now it's okay because there is no hydrogen peroxide, so I can do the simulation. Okay, and then after that I will go to the simulation. Okay, I'm ready to do the simulation, but I think I will stop the class from here because at the 11 I have a seminar. Yeah, so I have to prepare the seminar. Yeah, so do you have any question, any comment? I will continue the simulation next week. Yeah, so I will continue the simulation next week. Okay, if you want to continue by yourself, yeah, I can give it to you the definition of that the starter of the simulation, so you can just put unit operation on there. Okay. Okay. Do you have any question, any comment related with the today class? Is it
No,
clear?
sir. Yes, sir.
Clear, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, if it's clear, so I think I will stop the class in here. Okay, thank you for your attention and see you next week. Yeah, see you next week.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.